Hey everybody, welcome back to Leosophy. I got 3 new questions and I'm going to jump right in. Question number 1 was, sorry, I was misreading. Uh, according to Norse mythology, sorry, it's like really small font. I got my computer's back and the screen, it's going to take getting used to. Sorry about that. Anyway, according to the Eddas, after Ragnarok, there will be a new form of creation, including new gods. Doesn't this strike you as an argument that there's a connection between Christianity and Germanic and Norse paganism? No. Really, and I hear too many people attribute sort of an authority on the subject of Snorritosterone, and I read his Edda. I think that I think he preserved a lot of interesting details about Norse paganism, but Snorri was not a Norse pagan. Snorri existed at a time where, for over a century, I think it was a couple of centuries, the area had been Christianized, including him. And so a lot of his accounts have to be taken with a pinch of salt. He is not the beginning and the ending as an authority on Norse paganism. So just be wary, because there are a lot of syncretism with Christianity in his stories, which could, by the way, I'm not saying that he did this dishonestly. That could have just naturally happened, because syncretism is a very common phenomenon, and paganism in general is very open to that. So a lot of people are looking at it as, he's polluted Norse paganism with Christianity. Well, you can't really pollute something that's open to being syncretized with other things any more than, it would be like saying that voodoo polluted, or Catholicism polluted voodoo. It's like, it wasn't a forced kind of arrangement. So the thing to take home here is take what Snorri says with a pinch of salt, and I do not think that it's any connection between Christianity and Norse paganism. I think this is something that came well after the arrival of Christianity, and maybe even is an invention of Snorri's. So, yeah, let's see. Next question. In your podcast, you mentioned ways to naturally raise test. Any further thoughts on the matter? Well, I definitely think that some of it has to do with micronutrients and the fact that we've depleted the soil a lot. So, especially looking at specialized foods that can sort of supplement things that are otherwise lacking, I think is a really great alternative to doing anything else like anabolics, for example. So I think shellfish is a big one, and that's part of the natural human diet anyway. Like, people normally in antiquity, they ate quite a bit of shellfish. Our pancreas is actually made to break down chitin, so insects and crustaceans were pretty common in our diet to the point that we can do that. A lot of animals eat a lot of insects and still don't have that ability. The fact that we have it is a real testament to that. Also, Brazil nuts are so high in selenium, which is important for test, that you actually can't eat too many of them. You'll actually die from like an overdose of selenium. And I would stick to 1 a day, or maybe 2 a day for a couple of days, just to get things up and running. I've heard of some people topically applying iodine to, I can't even remember the exact details. I'm very skeptical of it because I can't find a lot of literature on it. So, bottom line, maybe don't put iodine on your boys until something comes out that actually showcases its value. Other things that are high in zinc and selenium are also good. And lastly, and I think this is a huge part of the whole masculinity crisis, not just microplastics and xenoestrogens and all the things that we've already kind of been talking about and that I mentioned in the podcast, but also just the whole saturated fat scare of the 80s and 90s that people still buy into. Like, you need saturated fat to make cholesterol. Cholesterol is not inherently bad, and testosterone is a cholesterol. So, eat some saturated fat. I'm not saying, this is not giving a carte blanche excuse to like eat bacon, but get some saturated fats. The healthier, the better. Which medium chain triglycerides like coconut oil does have an advantage in that area, because I think something it's in the ballpark. Like coconut oil is like half saturated, half unsaturated, something like that. Medium chain. Bottom line, get good fats, and that includes saturated fat. I mean, really, all the fats are good in certain balances, except for trans fats. Paracelsus was right about that. Everything is a poison and everything's an antidote. It's more a question of dose. I love that quote, and I know that's not the first time I've used it, and it's not the last time I'll use it. Next question. Any other recommended alt tech channels? Ragnar Lothbrok's new podcast on YouTube, I highly recommend, and Right Wing Dharma Squads, I highly recommend. I know I just said it YouTube, and it's not really alt tech, but these people have they have a presence on alt tech sites like Gab and Minds and Parler and things of that sort that I've touched up on. So I highly recommend them. I don't need to recommend Styx or Razor Fist or the Golden One, because everybody already knows them way more than they know about me. But I do listen to those three. Other than that, that's really all I got to recommend that I can think of. Which means after this video, I'll beat myself up for remembering one or two that I should recommend. But oh well. But those are the ones that I encourage people to check out. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, keep asking questions. Bye.